Hello, welcome to another session and how to engage at ages 6 to 8 virtually. How can you engage them virtually through Bible stories? So that is the session we're going to be having here. If this is the session for you, please sit down, sit back and relax. Now, if you'd notice from my background, just first of all, my background is actually the picture behind me is actually tells about the story you want to talk about. So anytime you want to um, engage the children virtually, it's always good to add that. It just gets more of the attention. And imagine if you had to do it for every of your stories, they know that once they see this thing in the background, they know that they could actually begin to think of what story you want to actually talk about. So if you look at my background here, this is the horn, which was the horn that was used in anointing David. Samuel actually poured oil in the horn, and here is the sling. These are things that I actually made and came up with myself. The horn was painted, and the sling was made out of an old leather that we actually had in the house. We just weaved it, and my daughter and I actually came up with this together. So it's just trying to make it. You could actually get 1,001 pictures online, but I just prefer to use the one that I made myself. Okay, so first of all, make your background as attractive as possible and let it be tailored towards a story you'd like to talk about. Secondly, we're actually talking to an age 6 to 8. So I might not actually, if you've not seen the video on how to engage ages 2 to 5, please um, watch the video. So we might not actually go through the method of maybe having to show them the props like I did in my video for ages 2 to 5, where I actually showed them the A and I. Okay, I was just for the age. But if you think that you want to do that, okay, you could, but it depends on this is 86 to 8. They probably would not need that. So we're just going straight to my background already would have actually, you know, set the lesson in motion. So I'm saying, can someone tell me what lesson we want to learn today? And then from the story, what is this? What can you say? Oh, what happened there? Or what is it used for? Is there someone in the Bible? And if they don't know it, you tell them about it. And that's where our story begins. So today's story is going to be on the story of David and Goliath. Does anybody? Now you allow them to express themselves because you want to keep it as engaging as possible. When you're doing so much of the talking, you might not actually get the children to really, really, you know, um, interact and get really, really engaged and give you all the attention. So you're doing a lot of question and answer. Can someone tell me who knows the story of David and Goliath? I get the children to tell you. The children tell you, on that story on David and Goliath, basically. And then we go with a memory verse from the story. Please, as much as possible, let the children actually have memory verses that they would pick from every lesson. Let them learn it. And then they convert that memory verse into a song, which you would always go back to. So imagine I'm done with this class today, and I go my next class and begin with our lesson. What was our memory verse? What lesson did you learn? And they tell you what was the memory verse. It's just natural for them. So one memory verse I'm going to pick here is from the story of David and Goliath, where they say, David killed Goliath. David killed Goliath. David killed Goliath with a pebble stone. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. He knew that the Lord will help. David killed Goliath. David killed. So I'm doing the wrong motion. So let's go. David, because this is what he did. He actually used the sling. David killed Goliath. David killed Goliath with a pebble stone. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. He knew that the Lord will help. So let's use our actions and all that to keep them. So we've talked about using your background. then using this background to introduce your story as much as possible. And if you can't actually use that, you can then bring the props, into play and ask them, can someone tell us, what? Please don't forget that we're going to pray. I talked about that in our video for the ages 2 to 5. So every child for ages 6 to 8, you could actually do 40 to 1 hour. It still depends. Don't forget that you have age 6 in there. So, but they could actually keep engaged up to an hour. But if you then look at their body language, ensure that their videos are turned on so you can actually monitor, you know, their concentration basically. So yeah, that's it for my ages 6 to 8. So let's another thing we must also note is that remember you talked about memory verses turning into a song. I made that into a song, and turn it into a song. You use your props to introduce a story. Please let them have their Bibles. Every child must hold their Bible. Let them open the Bible to read along. So you have that for your Bible and take them through a virtual tour. Let them really know. Take them, you can pick any landmark from that story of David and Goliath, anything in time, anything whatsoever. It could even just be, okay, like he was a shepherd boy. Can you take a tour and to see how sheep are being reared? You can actually watch a video on that. Or you could just go to those sites and see landmarks of so one I would like to talk about is the the point where David actually killed Goliath, which was that valley, I think it was Sukkot, and where it all happened. So let's take a tour and how and where does it still exist? What does it look like now? So I got this video. It's this couple actually, I don't know if they're couples. I don't know, but these people actually traveled to the Valley of Elah, where was all that happened. So let's listen.
We are at the Valley of Elah, where David slew Goliath.
This is so cool. How many years? And we've never been here. After so many years, we're finally here.
Archaeologists have identified the valley and the mountains upon which the Philistines and the Israelites encamped.
We are.
So the valley is just that deep ditch between two hills. So they were, that was where the whole miracle happened. The boy who just came to serve. See, so I'm talking about the story, and here we are still on the town. So you need all of your background. You need to know your story before you take them on tour. So what happened? David just went. He came to give his brothers food, and he saw a giant shouting. This was where, so the Israelites stood on one side and the Philistines stood on the other side. Imagine you're telling the story and then you're on a tower. Imagine if they have to then travel themselves. So as much as possible, if we are able to take them through that, it will be nice. And they actually tried to discover the stones.
Smooth stones.
Oh, that's perfect. Look at that.
And we're going to try and answer the questions that we always
So you're
have.
staying right here, and I'm gonna go down there and be the Goliath. We'll see if you can hear me.
How could the Israelites
So
hear?
it was the sling here that he used a sling, put the stone in the sling, and then that was what he used. That was all he used. He had no sword. He actually took the sword from Goliath to cut off his head. That was it. Yeah. It was so amazing.
Goliath if there is a valley in between
So
them?
these people actually traveled to. So yes, you can actually do all that virtual tour with the children. It's actually fun. Okay, so next I'm going to actually show you other things that you can use. Now imagine you've done your story as much as possible. I'm not even talking about the slides now. So you have to prepare your lesson. You have to prepare your lesson, the sequence of your story. What was the first thing that happened? What was the second thing that happened? And then, so I'm not going there. I'm just trying to let you know other ways. That's basic. Preparing your teaching. Every pastor prepares his message. So you need your teaching. Okay. And it has to be attractive and colorful as possible. Let me see. I think I have one that I can actually show one of my slides to show. This story is on the story of Jesus, Matthew 26. So imagine I have all of my verses here. Imagine that. So the verses are here. the pictures. Now we came to class when Jesus had finished all the saying. I said to his disciples, I have the picture here. You know that after 2 days is the Passover and the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified. So Jesus is still here. He's talking to him. He has not left the scene. And the next scene is when they said the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people assembled at the palace of the high priest, which was called Caiaphas. I'm talking this fact I'm talking to an adult and I'm not talking to children. But when you're talking to children, you take your time. For example, and then they plotted to kill Jesus. You see, so I have the sequence of the story here, sequence of the story in here. Now imagine if I want to um, give them an activity in the story, I would just take all of this sequence and tell them rearrange this story, rearrange these pictures according to the sequence of the story. So that's one activity. If I have this one come up here, which one do you think would come first? What happened before the people started talking? What happened before the woman put the oil on Jesus? Why are the disciples angry? So they know the sequence of the story, they've told, they've learned it, so that is one activity that the children should actually do after you have told the story. Don't forget that you prepare your slide, you make a memory verse from that story, which they would turn into a song. You could even tell the children to actually tell and turn the who can actually compose a song from this memory verse. So with them, you're surprised that you get children that you can begin to discover talents from there. Okay, so yes, it just goes on like that. Now we talked about how to engage, you sing along, you pray with the children. Please keep interacting with them, keep talking to them, keep calling their names. Ensure that they are all signed in using their names so that you can call the names that are there. Ensure that their videos are attended so that it's like you're in the classroom and you're talking to them. Why are you sitting down that way? Will you please sit up? Okay, and then what's the matter? You want something, you have something to share. So keep interacting with them, keep interacting. There should be no dull moments at all when you're having an online session. So we talked about all the preparing of the slides, taking them on the tour, let it be as short as possible. Don't forget you're working between the stated time. And then if you begin to exceed your time, you might begin to lose the focus of the children. You see them begin to look at, you have 5 more minutes, you have 10 minutes. They might not say it now, but then their head is already, even if it's that interesting, but then they could also have some things that they want to go back to do. So let's always stick to our time as much as possible. Now, another thing you could actually do to engage the children after the lesson, if you don't want to use the sequence of the story, like I said, I rearrange the pictures according to the story. There are 68, they are big enough to be able to write out the questions and all that, but there are other ways to do it. You might not be able to mark all the activities that they would do, but then you can bring it to their screen. If you're using a paid Zoom version, there's something we call the Kahoot there. If we have to take you through how to prepare, work on creating questions and that'll take a long time. But you could actually go online and look for details on how to actually set up your Kahoot. Do you have Kahoot? You will have Kahoot if you're in a paid version. Where is the Kahoot? Let me show you where the Kahoot is. If you go down your screen on the menu there, you see the app here, which I'm going to so this is the app. Click on this app here, okay? So when you click on this app here, the next thing that will come up here, okay, so you clicked on the app, right? The next thing that you would have that will pop up after you click on the app is the Kahoot. So here you have the Kahoot, you have the timer. Let me be sure that I'm interacting. So this is the Kahoot step. You have Kahoot, you have timer, you have virtual backgrounds. So you can get a lot of virtual backgrounds there as well. that already come with the system. And then you have group photos. So you can actually take group photos with the children. There you can actually have music playing in your background. That's not what we're doing here. We're talking about what the Kahoot. So when you click on the Kahoot, you just follow the instructions that you have there. You have to sign up, or log in if you already have an account, and just follow. It is self-interactive. You can actually just follow all of the directions that you have there for the Kahoot. So that's actually it for Kahoot. And then the next one you'll be having is for go to more. If you go down also in your screen, you would have more. down there. When you click on more, what would come up is all this captions. If you want your words to be read as well, it comes up there. You can create breakout rooms where you divide the children into groups. Please also, you would actually get videos on that as well. So breakout rooms for the children, if you have as many teachers as possible that could take up the children where you could interact with them. So breakout, but we're talking about how to interact with them. So you have polls and quizzes. So you click on that. Kindly please follow the all the steps on how to create it. You have them there as well. Okay. However, if you do not want to go through that route, you could actually go on YouTube and you will get 1,001 trivia questions. But ensure that when you actually go on YouTube to create your story, your factual questions, I've actually spoken about how to engage children using Kahoot through polls. And then now I'm here on YouTube where you could just go and type in, if you look at what I have at the top here, I have 5 quiz Bible trivia story of David, you could just, so what all I typed in was trivia questions on the story of David and Goliath. It's always good sometimes that we actually prepare these things ourselves, so we are actually, this can actually be made ourselves as well. Okay, so but however, you already have it here. Children like sound, so and then this is actually timed as well. Okay, so this question is, I'll take it from the beginning.
Warrior from the Philistines.
Who was a giant warrior from the Philistines? You see it's counting down. At this point, I say nobody should speak. If you know the answer, raise up your hands. So always look at their screen for those that are raising their hands.
Goliath.
It's, so you see that, then
what kind of battle did David and Goliath engage in?
So what kind of battle did they engage in? Now, if I look at all these answers here, it wasn't actually, these words were
single combat.
You understand? It wasn't actually this term, single combat. Now, are we going to teach them single combat from, during the lesson? Except you have gone through this video, you would have gotten your video and begin to talk about it, during your lesson. Okay, single combat, what's single combat, what is a siege, what is a naval warfare? So you would have prepared that. So it's always good you have actually prepared your question activity. This is actually nice to engage children online to be sure that you're actually working with the children. You're actually on the same page with them. But don't forget to close up on how to engage ages 6 to 8. I said you always begin with a prayer. You could get a child to actually start up a prayer, and then you could actually play a song on David and Goliath, a song on it, on David and Goliath, before the children are signed in, just to get them, in the spirit of the whole lesson. And here I have my bachelor background. Please ensure that your backgrounds are totally connect with the children. You don't want to be in a background that you are in your room and you have clothes hanging from behind. No, you don't want to do that. You want it as plain as possible. If you cannot put up a background like this, you would want to bring those things up to start your class. And I said you're starting with this and you're interacting with them as you move. You're interacting with them as the class is going. What is this? What story did we talk about? And we said how to engage them. You use your Kahoot, you use your polls to engage, or you go on YouTube to actually engage them. How do you, that's after you've actually introduced. And I also said that you prepare your slide for the children. When you've prepared your slide, easy for you to interact with them. And then go on a virtual tour. Virtual tour help the children to know that the Bible is not the Bible is real. These things existed, and some of them are still there for us to even go to see. A lot of people travel there to see all of these places. as much as possible. If you want to do DIY, you could actually do DIY with the children. It's fine. Or you could use, like I said, the educational activity. But before you go online and begin to pick questions, ensure that you have gone through those questions online first so that you can include them in your teaching. Okay? Or do you want to use sequence? Tell them to rearrange according to which one comes first, which one is number one, which one is number two. Remember, it's virtual, so you might have to scatter those images that I showed to you when I illustrated the story of Jesus and asked the children to pick. I hope this was engaging. If you think you have other ideas that you'd like to share with me, please kindly let me know. Thank you and have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. God bless you.